Did you know that mouse pads come in different colors, different materials, and even different thicknesses? There's cloth, plastic, glass, rubber, paper.
Being too cheap to buy a real mouse pad, I used a piece of paper to overcome the tracking issues on my computer desk. And it worked great, by the way. You just have to replace it every once in a while.
Much more. But I was looking on Amazon one day and I saw the 3M Precision mouse pad, and it had an outrageous claim of upwards of 50% longer battery life and improved accuracy. And I thought to myself, this is just an oddly patterned plastic mouse pad. And so I bought one, along with a black, gray, and white cloth mouse pad, all from the same manufacturer. Not from 3M, just from a different seller from the same factory. And I did that to reduce the variables. And basically what I was testing is, does the color of the mouse pad affect the battery life? Because the 3M mouse pad says that it increases battery life due to the color of the mouse pad being lighter and thus easier to track using less power. Now, a few months ago, I did a video on the Razer Viper where I upgraded the battery and showed some tips and tricks to get more battery out of it. But technically, this video will apply to all wireless mice that uses the standard laser or optical sensor. And basically, every mouse made right now is using an optical sensor, except for like ball mice and other weird contraptions. Like my Razer Viper battery video, I'll be running the same timing system, where if I am watching a video, or if I leave the desk for more than 5 minutes, I will pause the timer and turn off the mouse via the hardware switch on the bottom. I'll be running at 500 Hertz polling rate, 1350 DPI, no RGB, no lights, power saving on, and auto shut off after 1 minute, but that part doesn't specifically matter. And because I don't want to be testing a mouse for 60 hours for each pad, I only went from 100% to 75%. And this is on the upgraded battery. This is on the upgraded 600 milliamp battery. And for the second test, because the 3M mousepad did say increased accuracy, I personally can't conduct a very scientific test on the accuracy. I'm just a one-man crew with like a $5 budget. And so I will just personally say my opinion and what I have felt throughout the testing, playing the same games as I normally do. I don't really play different games. So yeah. Starting with the cloth pads, as seen on the graph on your screen right now, with the black cloth mouse pad, I achieved 19 hours and 50 minutes, which equals out to roughly 1.26% an hour loss. With the gray mouse pad, we got 19 hours, 20 minutes, which is an average of 1.29% an hour. With the white, it's 19 hours, 40 minutes, which is 1.28% an hour. Now, let's go for the mouse pad that actually says it's going to save battery. For the 3M Precision mousepad, which again, advertised to extend up to 50% battery life, we got 19 hours, 10 minutes, which is 1.3% an hour, the worst out of the four. Although I would consider this to be within margin of error, since they're all within about 40 minutes, and I would consider margin of error to be 10%, which would be would be just around 2 hours. To be realistic, I expected this because a mouse pad is a mouse pad. It doesn't matter what color the mouse pad is, what's on the mouse pad, because at the end of the day, your mouse is on top of it, your laser is basically invisible, it's infrared, and so when your mouse is on the mouse pad, there's no light except for the infrared light, and so your mouse pad could be pink, white, orange, black, gray. It doesn't matter. It all sees the same exact color because it's dark, except for the infrared light that comes off of the mouse laser, and it doesn't really care. For now, onto the second part, where the 3M mousepad could start to be justified, and that's with the accuracy. Now on to the accuracy, where I explain my personal findings on how each mouse felt to use, or how each mouse pad felt to use while playing a variety of games such as Call of Duty, Battlefield, Red Dead Online, and a few others, but they won't be named since there's it's just a running list. For the standard run-of-the-mill black cloth mouse pad, which is what I normally use anyways, but I used this specific one, so it's the same manufacturer, and it just felt like a standard mouse pad. I didn't really feel any problems with it. Never felt like it was improving anything. Never felt better or worse than what I've ever used before. With the gray, surprisingly enough, I did feel a slight difference. Not a huge one, but a slight difference. Recently, I started playing Red Dead Online in first person only. Uh, I really wish they would increase the field of vision for first person. It's horribly small. But compared to the black mouse pad, aiming and hitting headshots did feel a little smoother. And it was quite noticeable to be realistic. And I thought maybe this was just placebo, and I was just feeling an effect of just being on a different mouse pad, and there wasn't a real mechanical advantage. But when I switched back to the black mouse pad, those headshots were a little harder to do. It wasn't quite as smooth to hit the target. So with the gray, I definitely did feel a difference. Not a huge one, but I did feel a difference. And then the white mouse pad, it felt no different than the gray mouse pad, to be fair. Last of all, the 3M mouse pad. It's a hard surface pad, being plastic, and I personally hate hard mouse pads because they make noise. They tend to rub down your skates a lot faster. If anything gets on it, it's really easy to feel. Like if you got like a speck of dust, it's really easy to like feel that speck of dust. But as for tracking, it felt the same as the gray and white mouse pad, maybe a tad better, but at that point it was if it was better in any way, it was quite minuscule. At the end of all these tests, I did go back to the black mouse pad, and I do still feel a difference between the black one and the gray one. And so I thought that was slightly odd. So what does all of this mean? Just, just, just use whatever you like. If you like cloth, use cloth. If you like plastic, use plastic. If you like metal, use metal. It does not realistically matter as long as you're using something proper. Just as long as it's meant to be used as a mouse pad, it's probably perfectly fine. It could be the cheapest Chinese crap to the most expensive glass pads. For the most part, for an average gamer, you're not going to feel a huge difference. So as long as you're not using paper, glass, sandpaper, a human, your graphics card, as long as you're not using anything like that, just go ahead for whatever you like.